so this session is physical presence and body language. And here's where we're going to start to get into not just the skin deep stuff. We're going to talk about the way that human movement projects your presence and your authority. Does anybody in here doubt that I have a whole hell of a lot of authority? Raise your hands and if you're stupid. Okay. Nobody has any doubt that I have authority. And part of that is, now I want you to think back to the morning sessions. Have you seen me doing this a whole lot? This, maybe? Okay, maybe this, maybe a little lean forward, maybe some of this, okay? Are you recognizing some of the power traits you see politicians using? Huh? Remember some of the things that you see people doing when they have authority, all right? When they walk up, when they address one person in the eye. You see me do this again and again. I've met every person's eyes in here at least 5 or 6 times, yes? You see me stare straight into your eyes, okay? I don't stare at your nose. I don't stare at the top of your head. I stare straight into your eyes. Okay? These are traits that we use to express authority and confidence. And that's what we're going to try to work on right now. Okay? Not try to work on. You're going to come out of this session with the capacity to express at least 50-60% more authority than you did when you walked into it. I totally made up that statistic in my brain just now. Okay? The absolute number one thing I want you to get across when you have a physical presence issue with people that you're going to be interviewing with is your handshake. Okay? This is something that men get cultured into doing that women don't ever do, okay? When you're a boy, you shake hands with your uncle and he says, wow, that's a nice firm grip, Tommy. You know, that's not the kind of thing that women ever get feedback on, all right? You never get told your handshake sucks, all right? Hey, how you doing? It's so good to meet you. Wins a little more. Turn around and have that, yeah, exactly. All right, how about this one right here? Hey, how you doing?
Much better.
Mm-hmm. Still not quite
And you're
so much
looking
better, right?
It's better. You're kind of wobbly though.
Yeah.
A little wobbly.
It's okay. So, all right, and exactly. And so, hey, Bill, what's going on? How you doing? All right. Did you see what just happened? Okay. Watch this again. Grab. There are mechanics at work here. See this web? This thumb web right here? Hit it. Hit it hard. Harder than you think you can hit it. Twist your hand. Hold underneath like this. Then you grab at the elbow, then you snap right there, then you pop back. All right, now right here, underneath, right here, okay? Straight across, never sideways, at an angle like this. You are not firing a gun in Los Angeles. All right? So, wrist, wrist stiffer, there we go. Elbows, where the wiggle happens. There we go, all right. Don't wiggle. Wrist totally straight, okay? There we go. All right, clasp. You got firm this is? Okay, well, not like that hard. There you go. All right, there you go. Watch how I'm coming in almost from the side. This is the haymaker handshake. I swear to God, I invented this both me one day. Yes, Tarah Wheeler and
the haymaker?
Haymaker shake. Watch this. It comes in from the side.
Okay.
See how that happened?
Yes.
Perfect handshake, right? Watch this. Side. All right, the reason you're doing this is because human depth perception doesn't necessarily always work straight on.
Right.
You guys ever dropped a treat in front of a cat and had them still standing?
Yeah.
Right? The treat has dropped in front of them, and they've still, because cats don't have this up and down depth perception, okay? For humans, it often works side to side and coming straight at you. So it's often harder to tell if I poke straight at your face where this hand is located, okay? So here, it's a little harder sometimes to judge, and you might bump, or you might hit the wrong angle, or something weird might happen, see? Okay. But I come in from the side, and humans can identify where it's coming from. So, see? Exactly, but you think about it, and there's problems with it. All right, here we go. See, side, there we go. Remember? Wrist. Okay. Now we're going to practice it. Everybody up, right now. Okay. Here we go. Beta. It is great to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
There we go. Awesome. Exchange that handshake with somebody. Exactly. Amy, here we go. Right down a little bit. There we go. There you go. Don't get it up until you get to the end. Come on, Bill. Hey guys, don't tighten up until you get to the hand. Otherwise, you end up with this number here. Okay. So watch, totally loose, relaxed. Here we go. Doesn't tighten until we get to here. Okay. All right. Never do the Bill Clinton. All right. This is the Bill Clinton. Oh yeah. Never do that. All right. Never do the Mitt Romney. This is a power move and it is extremely aggressive. Don't do this thing right here where you put the hand over the back of their hand. Sometimes guys will do that. It's really gross. Okay. All right, here we go. Nice to meet you. That's an awesome handshake. Give that one to Bill.
It's weird because your hands are small. It's weird. Okay.
You know, guys invented this. The whole thing is supposed to be stiff. Still, don't get right now. Lisa, they said guys invented it. The whole thing is supposed to be stiff. Okay, you're good. Hi, how you doing? Yeah? Okay. Don't do this. You say that. Yeah, exactly. Pleased to meet you. Okay, just see you got a weird girlfriend here. You know, when I came on today, hey guys, here's an example too. If you got a bad angle on somebody and you got this down here, don't do the crawl up the arm. Okay, Adriana, watch this. Don't do the crawl up the arm. Spider crawl, right? Yeah, it's so gross. It's very horrible. Are you feeling this? Okay. Open your presence up, all right? More expansive, all right? Take up more room. Women get taught to take up so little room. I mean, we sit down, we're kind of closed off. I watched it at lunch. I watched you guys do this again and again and again.
I have one thing to add to this.
Yeah.
In some cultures, it is offensive to go with the left hand. So unless you
Yes.
are missing your right hand or have some kind of obvious injury,
Yes. You always
don't go with
shake.
your left hand. Always use your right.
You always shake with your right hand. Regardless, it's not fair, but 90% of people are right, so 10% of people are wrong. What are you gonna do? Okay. Yes, this is very important. You guys can sit down now. We're done with most of the handshaking thing. But taking up the room that you need to get your job done is an indicator of confidence. So when I sit here, I might sit in a chair, and I sit back a little bit, you know, and I kick my heel up, something like this. Not a skirt so much, like I mentioned before, but this is also a power move. For men, the ability to sit down in a chair and kind of splay their legs out a little bit like this, lean back, this is a power move. It goes back to the days of being an ape, okay? No, I'm deadly serious. We are sending a psychological message about our confidence, our power, our capacity to be authoritative, and more or less in this culture, that means dude. I'm talking about taking up space, but I don't know if you guys truly understand just how much power there is in the space that you take up. There's 7 people over here, I think, total, and there's 6 people over here total. Okay. We are going to do something that I like to call the elevator exercise, all right? And this is going to show you what kinetics are really like. Kinetics is it's a study of the way the human body moves and takes up space, okay? So over here, you guys, if you could all stand up, please. You're going to look at behind you. This includes you ladies too. If you could move your chairs away from this green square right here. Hey, Daniel. Can we scoot them out of the elevator here a little bit? The lights, is that okay? All right. Okay. Even if it's just scooted back just over the line right there is fine. Just out of the green space, it's totally good. Okay. So this is the space of a typical elevator, right? Okay, everybody get over here. All right, here is going to be the door, right here to the elevator, all right? So everybody's going to jump on in. Every one of you get in here. All right, this is an elevator, all right? So, and then next person comes on in. Exactly. No, just these people at a time, because it's about elevator amount in here, I would say. So, that's good. We've got a weight limit. So, this is right about right, exactly. So we're here, we're in the elevator. So what happens exactly if I start talking to all of you guys in the elevator? And I turn around, right, exactly. All of a sudden, every single one of you just lost, we're all in the same elevator here. You know, you've been in the situation before. How uncomfortable you are right now? A little uncomfortable? Just a little bit? How about you? We're all in the elevator. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So anybody doubt that taking up space provides for authority? Can make people uncomfortable? This is a powerful thing I'm doing. And it's not just powerful, it asserts power. All right? All right, go ahead and hop on out. Everybody else, get on over here in the elevator with me.
Yeah, they're so happy to be out of the elevator. It's awesome. You guys have all walked in. You're already deeply uncomfortable. I'm seeing everybody's closed off language right now. Absolutely. So everybody has jumped on in the elevator. This is how people usually stack up inside the elevator, and all of a sudden I turn around and I start talking to every single one of you. Hey, what's up? I love your perfume. Absolutely. So, power move, right? All right, I'm this close to you. You are desperate to step backwards right now.
It's true.
Yeah, you are desperate to get out of this elevator right now because I have broken the rules of the social contract. I have turned around in the elevator, all right? Seriously, here's a guy who is 4 inches taller than me. He's probably got 10 pounds on me. And he is dying to move away from me right now because I have made myself powerful and authoritative. I'm taking space, all right? Get out of the elevator, fine, go on. All right, but you get the idea. This is the space of an elevator. That is how powerful human kinetics actually are, okay? I made you desperate to do what I wanted you to do, and all I did was turn around in an elevator, okay? That is how powerful your physical presence and the way that you project yourself can be, okay? This also means, and that lesson that I just showed you right there, that you need to be very conscious of how far away you are from somebody and whether or not you're following the rules. It's closely related to the bus example. If you get on the bus and there are no seats, where do you sit? Or there's no people on the bus, where do you sit? Front, wherever, okay, so. And the next person gets on the bus, where do they sit? Okay, other side. All right, where's the next person sit? Further back. Okay, do they ever sit next to somebody? No. Why is that?
Because it's creepy.
Why is it creepy?
Because you don't know this person and they want to be close to you.
Mm-hmm. And now the entire bus is filled, but there's one seat that's remaining. Where do you sit?
Stand up. Are you sitting?
Yeah. You avoid as much as possible sitting down next to somebody until you absolutely can't help it anymore. Right? Why? It's creepy. I am informed by my husband that there's a very thin line between creepy and romantic, and he thinks I'm cute no matter what, so it's all good. All right. But you now, I think you understand at a gut level how important it is to have that correct physical spacing between you and someone else, right? We have these rules in this culture about how far away we need to be from someone, and it's different from coast to coast and locations in the US. You'll be able to get a good example of how far away from somebody you want to stand or sit by looking at the conduct of everybody else in that office, okay? So if you see people and they're talking and they're in the loosely configured round circle that people often talk in, do not break the rule. Walk into the circle, turn around and face somebody to talk to them, okay? You know what I'm talking about, right? Maybe like the dance circle we all got into in junior high, you know? That was just me, I'm a nerd, okay.
Could I just make a note?
Yeah, go for it.
Personal space. I worked at a startup where the CEO deliberately hugged everybody.
Oh, dude!
And it made all the men very uncomfortable. It was a power move, and it worked. It made him the authoritative figure because he would say, hey, come here, come here, come here. How you doing? And he would do this to everybody. He would do it to CEOs who came in. And what could the CEO do? They like, oh my God, why did he touch me? He invaded my space. I'm a CEO. Why did he get so close to me?
And they were rattled, and his negotiations went how swimmingly well after that.
Wonderfully.
Oh, yeah.
He was always the big player. So it's very powerful.
That's a really awesome point.
Was he an American or was he a different culture?
He was American.
Yeah. That's actually a really good question because the touchy-feely thing, that it can often be very different from culture to culture. So you do have a responsibility if you are interviewing in a different culture to understand what the rules will be. As an example, I have interviewed at a company here in town. I am not entirely sure I should say the name of it. Anyway, there's a company here in town that is a big gaming company, and it is based out of South Korea. Okay, a lot of people are directly out of South Korea and work at this company. The rules when you walk into that office are extremely different than they would be if you walked into, say, Microsoft. The level of physical contact drops precipitously. The amount of physical space that is offered everyone decreases because in South Korea there's a little bit less space between people, okay? And this is just me viewing the situation as I walked into the office. I did my best to adjust to that situation. I don't think I did very well, honestly. It is very hard to change the rules of your culture. It's very hard to instantaneously become comfortable with something that you were not previously comfortable. Okay? How long do you think it would have taken us in the elevator there for us all to actually get to the point where we were comfortable with the situation? Just guess. Give me some minutes here. Hours.
30 floors? No.
It takes 20 minutes.
Yeah.
You think?
I think it depends on what happens in the elevator. So if
How many beers have I had, and is it Friday afternoon?
like an emergency and then like
Yeah.
the elevator shuts down, then yeah,
So-
probably I'll speak up a little bit more. But
So the circumstances have changed to make that okay.
exactly.
Think of it in this case as the circumstances changing when you were in a job interview, and always mimic back the behavior that you see the other person making towards you. When you see the person establish a comfortable amount of space between you, never breach that comfortable space, ever. Because that creepy feeling that you're talking about is the perfect word for it, and they don't want to work with somebody that they're creeped out by. I was mentioning to the table at lunch here, a lot of what we're doing is we are attempting to make you as bland as possible in a lot of ways. What we're trying to do is make sure that nobody checks a box in the back of their head that says, don't want to work with them. I can't work with somebody who eats their food like a pig. Oh, I don't want to work with somebody who's got a clammy handshake. That's just gross. It's going to freak me out every time I have to touch them. You know, I don't really want to work with somebody that picks their teeth or sucks their tongue constantly, because that's just going to irritate the hell out of me at the cubicle. I do not want to work with somebody who breaks my space all the time because, ugh. Okay? All we're doing is making sure that you check as few of those boxes in the back of somebody's mind as possible. And why? Because you will be hired if you can do the fewest number of those annoying things or problematic things or politically inappropriate things. At the end of the interview, if they have no reason not to hire you, they will hire you. Everybody else is screwing up. Okay? You guys are getting this window view right now into all the things that you can do to mess up an interview, which means you can fix them. Most people never get this feedback, all right? They will all have an annoying habit or something weird or freaky that they do. How many of you guys didn't say something to the other when you were just exchanging handshakes and had weird handshakes with somebody? Did you guys give each other feedback and provide some information about what did and didn't work? Yes, please? Okay, well, you get to do it again, Eric, because you didn't tell somebody. Here, we're here to exchange this information because you're never going to get it again. You will never again hear anything but, sorry, you just weren't a good fit for the team at this time. Okay? Let's see here.
You know, I love that saying you just said. If they have no reason not to hire you, they will hire you.
If they have no reason not to hire you, they
Yeah.
will hire you. That is exactly what it
That really
is.
helps the perspective of a person who's in a candidate position.
Exactly. It's not that you're trying to get hired. In a lot of ways, it's not that you're trying to get hired. It's that you're trying not to get not hired. Okay? Okay, so you saw the openness and closedness. I was going to do this kind of more at the end, but you know what? I think you need to have this in your brains as we're doing this. You need to be okay with people not liking you. Women are not good at this. We want people to like us. Okay? You need to be okay with the fact that there is going to be a percentage of people who are not going to like you, not dig the way that you present yourself, and you will never fix that. All right? I am okay with the fact that the somewhat higher proportion of people than average, as far as women are concerned, don't like me. I'm okay with it. Why? Because my cat likes me, my husband digs me, you know, he's still there, I'm pretty sure. Somebody needs to call him and find out. I'm okay with the fact that there are people that don't like me. You know, my political views are going to turn somebody off. Every single person in here is going to have political views that are going to turn somebody off, no matter what you are. Okay? Somebody's not going to like you. All right? In a job interview, your job is to minimize as much as possible exposing those portions of yourself that can be not liked by somebody. Okay? That does not mean that you need to try to radically or dramatically shift your personality to the point where you're just not even the same human anymore. And the reason for that is, as much as it's great to have a job, it sucks to have a bad job. I am up in the air about whether or not it's worse to be unemployed or in a bad job, because I've been in both. I've been in a job that I couldn't quit. I've been in a job that I cried in the morning before I had to leave to go to work, okay? There's a reason why I do what I do now. Nobody tell me what to do in work, okay? I have bawled, tears rolling down my face at the notion that I have to step out of the car in the morning to go to the job that I was at, okay? Have you guys all been in this situation before? Raise your hands if you have cried before going to work. Every single one of you. The ones who haven't, you're doing something right. The ones who have, you're doing something right. because now you're learning how to not have that happen again, okay? So I never want to do that again. That was awful. That was worse than being poor, and I don't like being poor. I have a shopping thing, okay? So it's important to remember that people aren't going to like you and that you need to be okay with that. You know what? Just go out after the end of this thing. You got homework. Go piss somebody off and be okay with it. Do I look like I'm joking right now? Do I look like I'm joking? Go piss somebody off. Make not friends. Dude, that's awesome.
I did it this morning, actually. This 7-Eleven guy across the street. I messed his coffee thing up, and he got really angry with me, and I actually didn't apologize. I was like, well, if you just let me finish, it'll be fine.
I'm pretty, okay, well, don't associate yourself, because Samir makes really good coffee, and I live like a block away from him, so don't make him mad at my, okay. Okay.
Okay, I've done my homework.
Yes, do your homework. Be okay with pissing somebody off. This is actually something that Americans are often better at than other cultures. I'm not making a statement here. I'm noting that some of the people here are going to be from different cultures, you know. I mean, some of us have some accents and stuff. And so I've noted that some of the cultures that I've seen are deeply, deeply engaged in courteousness, which, thank you, because you're increasing the global average. But sometimes that courteousness is not helpful in a technical job interview in this culture, okay? I'm really not singling anybody out, because this can be something that can be inculcated into women who are, you know, all American Iowa corn-fed girls, okay? But that courteousness sometimes doesn't help you, all right? Sometimes you need to make people angry. Sometimes you need to be okay with not being liked. Keep that in mind as we do the rest of this, okay? Because twisting your personality into a pretzel doesn't do you any good, and you don't want to be in a job that's going to make you miserable. All right? It's awful. It is soul-sucking, and you want to have a good life. You've got one life, right? Who wants to be miserable in your one life? All right, let's note really quickly on a couple of feminine aspects of physical behavior, and then we're going to do a little bit of work here on phone interviews, okay? Because phone interviews is one place you do want to project a lot of personal presence to make yourself noticeable. Anyway, so, Portia, you're playing with your hair? Yes. No. No, and that's one of the reasons for this. You guys see me play with my hair even once at all. Right. Out of your face. All the time. Back, slick back if you have to. No playing with your hair, no fiddling with your earrings. The comment that I made earlier about this right here, that's the fiddling with the breastal area thing. You know what it's, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So don't be playing, don't be adjusting your bra. You know, that's what the vest is, again, good for. Let's see here. Chewing gum, licking lips. There are some very stereotypical feminine behaviors.
Cracking your knuckles.
Cracking your knuckles, don't do that, yeah. Oh, I love to crack my knuckles, exactly. So, I mean, if you've got a whole, you know, Bruce Lee thing going on, you're like, oh, and you're like, air program, you're like, oh yeah, watch this. That's cool. Plus, bonus points for referencing Enter the Dragon, which is the second greatest martial arts movie of all time, because Jet Li is still the greatest and Fist of Legend was best. He rocked Fist of Fury, the remake. Let's see here. The stereotypical feminine behaviors that I'm talking about are ones, again, this is not about bending your personality into this unrecognizable shape. What it is about not signaling or signifying to your interviewers that you are somebody who, because you engage in these stereotypical behaviors, will engage in other stereotypical behaviors. That's the purpose and the reason for doing it. You know, I mean, if I sit there and I cross my legs and I lick my lips a lot, you know, and I play with my hair a little bit, regardless of how good I am at my job, there is going to be an association of me with the other irritating behaviors that often men stereotype and joke and you know, have a good time laughing about. Things like women going to the bathroom in herds and things like that. You know, don't put your lipstick on in front of your interviewer. I've seen people do it, okay? Don't put your lipstick on in front of your interviewer. Don't wear a lot of perfume, but that's just a rule for everybody. And then you may have somebody with fragrance sensitivity that you're going to be interviewing with, and that's growing more and more common. And strong body scent, that's another one. Make sure that you're wearing some really, really, really good deodorant, because this is some of the most nerve-wracking stuff that you're going to do. You know, check yourself every once in a while. I mean, I'm wearing, you know, we're being honest here, right? I'm wearing a couple layers of deodorant and stuff like that. I'm wearing a silk blouse on camera in front of hot lights right now. I'm pretty amazed that I'm actually holding together this well at this point. You know? There are tips and tricks to make you able to do this, but the truth is that what matters is your personal physical presence. So, posture. Everybody. All right. Don't be fake. Stand up like you normally stand up. Good Lord. There we go. Okay. So, all right. Here comes more of the honest critique and everything like that. All right. You're doing better. You were very closed off. Some of the closed off gestures that you're going to see, don't do that. Yes, don't do that. Not this right here. Why? This is a submissive pose. All right. You are dominant animals. You are the lioness of the pride. Okay. You are shoulders back. Yes, shoulders back.
Do you just keep your hands down at your sides?
Wherever you're going to throw them. Okay, so my hands usually tend to run at my sides, something like this. If I bring them up, I'm bringing them up like this. Don't bring your arms up. Your elbows need to not stay glued to your sides, but don't move them more than 8 or 9 inches away from your sides. Within those realms, within that bound, you can be really comfortable. You're doing good, but Lord, you relax a little. Take a breath. It's all good. There you go.
Okay.
Deep breath in, deep breath out. All right, everybody, deep breath in. Deep breath out. Deep breath in. Yoga breaths. Deep breath out. There you go. All right, now you're standing up straight. There you go. All right, this is working a lot better. Remember, your shoulders need to go back, and this is, for women, this can be a little bit problematic, so don't trail around like this. Okay? All right, but the shoulders go back to express comfortable, open posture. All right? I want you guys to look at me from the side. Okay? Take a look at this. Basically, I have perfect posture, all right? And part of it is because I have a bad back. Also, I'm not saying anything about the Spanx that I'm wearing right now. So I have basically perfect posture, all right? Are you seeing where the alignment of my chin is right now? Watch what happens when I shift my posture even 1 inch. Do you see the difference? Mm-hmm. How big is that difference in my authority? It's pretty damn big, huh? Mm-hmm. Watch from this side over here, okay? Seeing this perfect posture? 1 inch shift. See the difference there?
Yeah.
Same thing over here at this angle. Okay? Posture, hanging out, everything like that. 1 inch shift. Do you see how huge that difference is in everything that you do? Okay. Stand up straight, like a string, pulling you up. All right?
From the crown of your
From the crown of your head.
back.
Yes, not the back of your head.
If you do this, you look silly.
Yes, you do.
You also look like
the
you're looking down
arrogance.
on someone. My grandma always used to tell me, hold your head up. That means this, not this.
Don't tilt your chin back. Don't tilt your chin down. If you have to sin one way or the other, up, not down. Okay?
Not more than an inch or so.
Exactly. Look at the kind of expression that I'm creating on my face simply by smiling at you. Watch what happens when I tilt my head down. A little more scared now? This is because this is predator look.
It's the Anne Romney look.
Crap, more stuff we gotta bleep out. Somebody take a note.
No, but have
All
you
right.
seen it when they take pictures of her?
I've seen it.
Inadvertently, she has this kind of look.
Yeah, exactly. Remind you of anything right about now?
Drill sergeant.
Uh-huh, pretty much. And I can make it even more deliberate somewhere along these lines right here. All right, now, watch this right here. What's this right here?
Interrogation room tactics.
A little bit. All right, now, hips forward.
Model catwalk.
See the difference? All right, now Tara's regular walk. No. Need more caffeine walk. Okay. Watch. See, the posture doesn't alter from up here, okay? And this isn't just to look good. This is also because as computer programmers, you're going to be like this all day long, okay? Every once in a while, stand back, grab your hands back here, pop your chest. Do you hear that? Yeah, pop your chest. Oh, God, that actually feels a lot better. Okay, now, you feeling that? Roll your shoulders back. There we go. All right, do you feel a little bit more comfortable standing up straight now? Okay. A good clue is don't get your elbows in front of your waist here. Because watch what happens as I'm standing here. See how my elbows are back here? You see me make gestures and such here, but do you ever see me make gestures with my elbows in front of me here? Okay, see kind of the weirdness? And touch your arms behind your back. I got that once when I was in junior high too. Okay. You see me, how I don't bring my arms forward? Why? Because watch what happens with my back. See me hunching forward? Okay, you can't help that.
A T-Rex.
What's that?
A T-Rex.
T-Rex? Oh, God. Don't do that. Okay. Do you have any questions about the way that you're standing? Do you want to know or have critique right now? Who's worried or concerned about it? Go for it, Meta. What do you want to know?
my natural posture. I tend to like do this, and I have to like contrive myself a little bit to have a good posture. Just want to make sure it looks natural.
That looks pretty natural. And I know it sucks, but this is actually something I'm going to tell you to change. Get good posture, because that's important for your lower back. And as a developer, you're going to be hunched forward so much. About every 10 minutes, and this is what my chiropractor and physical therapist are telling me to do now because I've been doing this forever. Sit up and pop your chest back like this, all right? All of these interior pec muscles that attach right here and at the center of your chest right here, these are really problematic for developers. I've caused myself neck problems. Oh yeah, neck problems and all manner of issues like this, all right? Now, everybody's good. Deep breath in one more time. And deep breath out. Sit down.
I have a couple more points about this.
Go for it.
Okay. So I mentioned before that I'm a power lifter, and postural things come up a lot. We call this computer guy posture. It's not just shoulders hunched, it's head forward because we're trying to see what we're doing, and a pelvic tilt. This pelvic tilt can be really difficult to correct. If you look up computer guy posture, you will find some exercises to do. If you found standing up straight to be uncomfortable, go take some yoga classes. You will come out of yoga 3 inches taller than you are right now. Seriously, it doesn't matter what kind. Just go take some yoga classes. And the shoulders back thing doesn't actually help me. It's shoulder blades together.
Is it?
It's two different cues. It's the same thing, but the cue for shoulder blades together works better for me because it's not so much push your chest out. It's also lift your chest up. And it feels silly when you first start doing it, but it really does work. And it helps you breathe more. It helps your brain be clear. It's very, very good for your overall health.
It really, really is. And it may sound a little kooky or a little funny, but this is a job that you can't do if you can't do your job, meaning you can't sit at a computer or work at a computer. And after a while, if you start hunching forward like this, you will create problems with your back that you will not be able to fix. Okay? This is pretty serious. Do any of you guys have any questions, any stress injuries you're already starting to see, maybe carpal tunnel or anything like that? Yeah, Eric?
Well, just a comment. I herniated my disc about
Me too.
4 years ago.
Yeah.
Going in my chair at work saying, look at this cute cat.
Cat videos.
That was it. And then I was out for 8 months.
Wow.
I was going to stress that, at least since I was a kid and probably still, the idea of exercise or jock has always been at odds with the idea of computer nerds, right? Mortal enemies. I last night played Dungeons and Dragons, and Tuesday I'm going to play football. So it's total exercise. She does competitive powerlifting. I still play football. I'm 47 years old.
If you go to the fitness subreddit, it is full of programmers.
Yeah.
Absolutely full of
It only
programmers.
makes you feel better.
It does.
It really does.
And as somebody who also does this and has a bad back, I do a lot of yoga, a lot of Pilates, I do a lot of walking. I like to bike when I get the opportunity to, and I'm also a martial artist. The guy that you'll see come in a little bit later on to do another session with me, Mike, he's pretty badass actually. He's a badass martial artist as well. So I think he's teaching ninja school right now or something. Not joking.
He gets to wear black and black.
Lots and lots of black and black. Yeah, 'cause who's gonna argue with him? Okay, so these are things that you need to do. Have a physical activity, really, is what we're telling you, that gets you up and out of the chair.
And that you
Do it
enjoy.
a lot. And that you enjoy, because you won't do it other than that.
There are lots of roller derby teams around here.
Yes.
Take a walk after dinner. Just walk around.
Yeah, that actually helps.
Anything
And
that
practice
gets
your
you
posture while you walk.
Absolutely.
What is the site that you said? Computer?
Reddit.
Reddit?
The subreddit fitness.
Reddit/r/programming.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, not programming. Fitness.
Fitness.
Okay.
Don't go to program. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, can I
Go to advice centers.
Earlier you talked about the CEO who hugged everybody. And you talked about what a power play this was. So my question was, is there a variation on that that is safe for a newbie coming in? Or is that only you can, I'm not talking about going around hugging everybody.
I got you. This depends on the culture of the job that you're going into, but I will tell you this. If you feel the need to exert power in that overt a sense, it's probably because the person that you're working with, that's interviewing with you, is giving you a mondo creepy vibe. Okay? It's probably that somebody is exerting an emotional or sexual kind of, not attraction so much as attempting to exert that kind of force at you to get you to either stay in your place or try to ask you out, something along those lines. And this happens too. Okay, so if you feel someone exerting the kind of pressure on you that I just demonstrated to you in the elevator exercise, you don't want to work for that person. Get out. All right? If you feel the need to do that kind of a power play, and you're not the CEO and you're coming in just as a newbie, don't work there. That's bad news. Bad news in every way, shape, and form. And I have been in that situation. Walk away. Get out.
Can I ask one other question?
Yeah.
There's a whole school of mimicking the body language
Mm-hmm.
of whoever.
Reflection.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Do you advocate that?
It's too easy to notice and start messing with somebody, which is fun. Remember the whole hacker thing, how we like to mess with people? This is what happens. If I see somebody who's deliberately reflecting at me, I start just doing stuff to see if I can get him to do it, and then it becomes distracting, and that's what it's all about. So this is one of those things I mean about don't bend your personality into a pretzel. Know why what's happening is happening. Be prepared for all these things, and don't get your arms in front of your chest for a lot of reasons. So what you're doing right now, the way you're sitting, is you seem like you're leaned back a little bit, which is awesome, but you've got your arms in front of you again. There you go. Do you have any idea how much of a difference in your personal presentation and the power of the presence that you're projecting to me that tiny change just made? Liz?
Huge difference,
Right?
absolutely. So I don't know if it'll show on me as well. She was sitting like this with her arms.
Mm-hmm.
And then she went like this.
And then she went like this. There's almost no way to express the difference. Here, Portia, you're really close to the right posture as well, too. See how you got your arms just a little bit in front of you here and kind of clasped in your lap? Yeah, use the armrests. That's one of the best cues we can give you. If you're sitting in a chair, put your arms on the armrest. It's going to fix it all. Okay? So do you have any idea how much of a difference in your personal presence you just made?
I can't really tell.
Exactly. You can't really
Watch
tell, and
other
nobody's...
people, though.
Yeah.
Just start paying attention. You'll notice.
No one will ever tell you that that's what happened, but you just like grew 2 inches and gained a master's degree with me just staring at you right here. Okay? Exactly.
It's been around for thousands of years, too.
It's almost
the
like you're
serfs all
talking
walked
about
like this.
how a king sits in their throne when the subjects all come in. The arms are on the on the side.
How have I been sitting the entire? Absolutely.
So is it appropriate to sit like this during an interview? To sit with
Yes.
your arms at your side like this?
Lean back. Kick your legs open like this. Sit your arms like this. It's confident. Lean back. Do not lean
How about
forward.
this
Do not sit like this.
You can pull that off a little bit. Yeah, keep your elbows down. And part of it is that is a little. It's not just that it's too informal. It's also that by itself is a power play. Yeah. So be a little careful with that. But yeah, that comfort level is what you need to work on. Yeah. Okay. Some people have things about women crossing their legs like this as opposed to at the ankle. I like to wear pants and make it irrelevant. Okay. And then if you're going to cross your legs and you can do it like this and you can pull it off and still look appropriate, this is the way you can cross your legs.
If it hurts your knees, don't do it.
Yeah, if it hurts something, don't do it.
If you have a heart condition, do not cross your legs.
Yoga girl or what?
Oh.
What are you talking about?
If you have a heart condition, do not cross your legs. You'll
Does it
pass
cut
out.
off your blood circulation?
Trippy. Huh, learn something new every day. All right.
You cross your legs?
Or in an interview?
Cross your legs like this.
Yeah, like that.
Like this. Just like a guy does when you see them watch in pants, like this. You see guys sitting down like this, maybe they rest their hands like this on their legs, sitting down in a chair. Maybe they kind of kick back a little bit like this. This right here, this is a confident pose.
But no, don't wear high heels. I don't know, it's something about crossing and heels.
If you're wearing pants, it's not a problem. Heels are not really the question here. Obviously, do not do this in a skirt. But my physical presence is so much of what I'm attempting to project that I can't wear a skirt because I need to be able to do stuff like this at the drop of a hat if I see the need to project more confidence to the person that I'm talking to. You can overwhelm people with your personality, okay? I'm telling you all my tricks here, yeah? Okay. Everybody pull your cell phones out. Cell phones, pull your cell phones out. All right, everybody listen here. Go ahead and greet me on the phone.
Hello?
Okay, did you hear that? All right, now, smile and drop your voice at the end of it.
Hello?
Drop your voice at the end of it.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Okay, smile, what are you doing?
Hello?
Little one?
Hello?
No. Drop your voice hard at the end of it.
Hello?
Yeah, that right there. Do you hear the difference between that and what she first said? Hello? And hello. Do you hear the difference in that? How huge was that difference? Big difference. Pretty little difference, all right?
Okay, turn to your partner, turn to the people that you're sitting next to, pair up with everybody, and then actually, you're paired up with them, but actually turn the other direction so that you're not looking at each other. And just practice saying hello. Drop your voice at the end.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello. Odd number. So, question. Here you go. Drop your voice at the end.
Hello.
Then switch to syllables. One starts with
Hello.
hello. There we go. Trying to get maybe it's me. Do you guys understand why you're dropping your voices at the end of saying hello?
Because it doesn't have a question in it.
That is correct, and I just want to get you guys to practice at the nature of not using interrogative in your voices. Okay?
I'm very busy.
All right, guys. Back up to the front again. All right. Hey, guys. Do you understand why you're dropping your voices at the end of it? Does everybody understand why you're dropping your voices? Hello.
Yes.
You get it.
Because it's not a question.
It's not a question. You're greeting somebody. If you can't keep that interrogative, that tentative note out of your voice in one single word, I almost know what I need to know about you before I've done with saying hello in the phone interview, honestly. It's true. We're judging you by what we hear in your voice. We're not judging you by the things we say. Everything that I'm showing you here, like I said, we can't help you if you don't know how to code. I'm assuming everybody in here has written a line of code sooner or later. Yes? Everybody's written a line of code? All right, well good. Then that's the part that you've already got handled. We're trying to show you why people don't hire women and don't hire people that sometimes display the traits that women display, which seem to men to be a lack of confidence. Your physical presence and the way that you sound on the phone are very important. You've heard me drop my voice a lot. You guys don't even see some of the tricks that I'm using right at the moment, okay? Until I point them out to you and say, do you see how this is something that I have or haven't been doing over the course of the day? You haven't even noticed anything, have you? All you see is, how confident am I on a scale of 1 to 100? Seriously, numbers.
100.
Are you sucking up? Why are you sucking up?
Because you're confident. I want to be like that.
A little scary too.
Yeah.
That's right, Richard.
In a good way.
Okay, there's a reason for that. If I demonstrate a set of skills, presumably to a pretty decent level, can you guys think of a reason why you would want to hire me to do a job, to run a dev team? Can any of you guys think of a reason why you wouldn't want to hire me to run a dev team?
You might take my job.
That can be sometimes a problem, and we'll talk about that too. Any other reasons you can think of? Beyond the fact that I might be too good at it? Right?
Well, I can see them questioning you running an entire group of men.
Okay.
Right? Because most of the time, they will all be men.
Yeah. Do you think that I am more or less likely than a woman not displaying these confident traits to be hired to do that job?
But you have less.
Do you think I'm less likely than a woman who displays no confidence in herself to be able to be chosen to run a team of all dudes?
Oh, no, no, I didn't.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, and you would, absolutely.
Yeah, I may still not be chosen.
Yes. But
Still-
you have a better
still a girl.
chance, yeah. Than
Can't help
if you
that.
didn't show any confidence. Absolutely.
Yes, we're just improving your chances here, guys. Okay? Go ahead, Meta.
When I'm at a point in my career right now where I'm applying for roles as an individual contributor,
Mhm.
I wouldn't want to be perceived as a bitch. I
Mhm.
want to be perceived as a team
The
player.
B word. Here's one of those reasons why I had to learn to be okay with people not liking me. Meta has basically brought up the whole problem with the world, which is that women who are displaying a lot of the traits that you're seeing right here, I have men walk up to me on the bus and say, "Get the fuck out of here, bitch." They need to dominate. They need to get me to drop my head, to do the whole roll over, rub my belly, submissive thing, okay? Because my attitude is a challenge. This is where you have to be okay with not being liked by everybody. As an individual contributor, your job is still to display the kind of confidence that's going to make you a valued member of the team.
If you do not display the kind of confidence that's going to get your point across in a group meeting, they're not going to believe that your voice is going to get heard in a Scrum stand-up or in any situation where your input is needed.
So that's already happening to me. You know, it's come up more than once on my performance review that when I do put my ideas forward, they don't like the sound of my voice. They don't care that I was right.
Mm-hmm. It's not fair, is it? Does it piss you off?
Yeah.
What do you want?
And it's come up even with my manager.
Mm-hmm.
Who wants me. And the funny thing is, I actually feel like I do share credit. I do point out other people's strengths
Mm-hmm.
when I'm Scrum Master. And I don't know, like, would being more of a bitch make that stop?
In one way or another, yeah.
Maybe a team player isn't helping me. Maybe a team player seems to be hurting me. But I don't want to not be a team player.
How do I phrase this? You can demonstrate all the capacity and qualities of someone with a forceful personality in providing credit to someone else, okay? You can heartily and thoroughly disagree with someone when they disagree with someone else in defense of another person, and you'll get all the credit of being an aggressive contributor to the team without actually being a bitch. Okay? If Liz and Lorraine and I have actually had some of these conversations before where one of us will disagree and we'll all, and we end up respecting the other person's opinion because we've all coded together. We've all spent, the whole Lady Coders thing, this isn't just us hanging out here and telling you how to buy shoes. We write sites together. We've got a couple of companies together. We're actually doing this. So we argue about stuff that needs to get done a lot of the time. If any one of us was too quiet and not willing to advocate for her own position at all, I don't think that we would have formed the company to begin with. I don't think that we would be able to work together. Liz and I often work a little bit more closely than Lorraine with both of us. So Liz and I do a lot of coding projects together.
We clash more often too.
We do, exactly. We clash often, but first, we're capable of saying, I'm sorry, I screwed up. And if you don't know how to do that, learn to do that thing. You can forcefully, aggressively say, I'm sorry. I know that sounds a little bit weird, but the same tricks that I'm using right now, the same confidence, put them behind saying, I'm sorry, you know what, you were absolutely right in this situation. Does anybody have any problem with what she's saying? Exactly. Do you see the kind of traits that I'm exhibiting right now? You can aggressively defend someone else's position and get them on your side at the same time that you're showing that you can be a team player.
So the flip side is, how do I get the credit for my position when I am later proven to be right? Or even right at the moment and don't want to spend any extra cycles debugging something along the way?
If you figure it out, let me know. Yeah, that also works, yeah. That's a power play.
Do you agree with me?
Mm-hmm. That's a power play too, and it does work. Yes, that's a Joe thing, absolutely. But people's first names are a powerful tool, and that's a good way to go. Her point right there is a very subtle one, actually. If I'm in a conversation with you and we're talking, and I really actually want to get your attention, I may say, so are you going to be in the stand-up tomorrow? I was concerned about this thing that you mentioned earlier and this bug that you checked in earlier. Meta, are you sure that you really want to go about it in this way? Do you hear the difference in how your attention is called to your name right there? That's a good way to get that intensity in the conversation without the kind of anger or aggression that can get you tagged with the B word. Okay, so the use of the first name just like that, this is the usage you're talking about, right? Okay, so that usage of somebody's first name can help you in that way.
It also snaps their attention to you if they
Yes,
found out.
it does. That snapping their attention to you. If you've ever had a lot of IM conversations, you can tell that the intensity of the conversation in an instant message conversation has increased if someone uses your name. When Liz and I have gotten upset at each other a little bit, we don't really get angry, but if we were disagreeing over something, and she says, hang on a second, Tara. I'm like, oh, okay, wait a minute. She's serious now. She actually used my name in an IM. She's seeing my name printed out line after line after line. She knows who she's talking to, and she's using my name right now. I'm going to take her seriously because what she's about to say is important. So that is one of the tools that you can use to help you in this situation. Okay, it's a tough one.
So you're saying these power plays actually will help you to get to the
Yes.
heart of the matter,
And
rather than get playing games.
part of the reason is it is unfortunate, but as a female, you don't get to complain about anything, basically. So to project this intensity, to get this kind of confidence, you need to do it in aggressive defense of other people sometimes. Is what I'm saying making sense? Liz, do you want to show me and demonstrate a bit too?
Something else I'd like to
Yeah.
I went to a fabulous talk at Geek Girl Con by Katie, and I'm sorry, her last name escapes me. She has a website, Work Made for Hire. She is a contract lawyer.
I'll look it up.
She is fabulous. And in her talk, one of the things that she spoke of was leading men who do not listen to her. And the way that she gets them to help her is to do something. I'm sorry?
Katie Lane, yeah.
Yes,
sorry.
Katie Lane, thank you. This is one of her tactics. Help me understand why this just isn't possible.
Mean it.
She's asking for help in a dominant position. Men want to help women.
Yes.
They want to take care of us. That is a great way to elicit a good response.
Right, guys? Yeah. They do.
I'd also like to bring up volume. Speak from your diaphragm. If you're in a group meeting and nobody's listening to you and you're talking like this, that's probably why, especially if everybody's trying to talk at once. Project. If you have to, go take some voice lessons. They will teach you how to project.
We'll talk a bit more about that in public speaking and the focus on that tomorrow as well. Okay, so the final thing I wanted to talk about, now that you've got that concept, let's see here, where did I go? Oh, there was a couple other things I wanted to talk to you about in terms of your voice and the phone interview thing. These are a couple of tricks that are going to help you sound like you are more prepared for phone interviews. Not just keep that smile going on, and make sure to drop your voice as much as possible. Often guys are actually really irritated by that continual interrogative at the end of a woman's voice. I can't even mimic it anymore. That continual interrogative at the end of a woman's voice. You hear the difference? What? Bleep that too. All right. So that raise it. She didn't just say that at all. Oh my God. Okay. Now we're gonna get sued by Canada. Okay. So drop your voice because that is annoying. It's not just annoying to men, it's annoying to everybody. Get rid of the interrogative at the end of your voice, and we're going to train you on that a little bit. One of the ways you can do that is be prepared. On phone interviews, do not be heard to be typing. Okay? When you know you've got 5 minutes left before an interview with, Amazon, they're going to call you up and do a tech interview. Open about 15 different tabs on a browser, okay? Have open, it depends on what you're gonna do. Say you're gonna do a C#.net interview, okay? Crack open C#, crack open .net, crack open Amazon, crack open the job description that you're gonna do. Look through the job description and see all of the HTML5, JavaScript, exactly. We need 3 years in CSS. Crack open the Wikipedia pages and possibly the APIs for all of the languages that you will be expected to know in that job interview, okay? And
Can you repeat that?
okay, so when you're getting ready for the job interview, open a browser window and open up tabs for all of the technologies that you're going to be expected to know. If you are typing and you are heard to be typing in that phone interview, they will assume that you are looking things up. If you have already looked them up and all you need to do is tab, 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 tab to get to the page that you want, then you're not typing, but you have all that information at your disposal. I didn't just say that just in case Amazon ever wants to hire me. So this is a trick to use, all right? This is a trick that I use all the time. Have you ever done this before, Liz?
No, I actually don't study like that. I can't read and talk at the same time. I'm terrible at multitasking.
Okay.
So what I do is skim through everything before the phone interview and then shut my computer, unless I know I'm going to need it during the interview.
So you will want to learn whether or not your approach is going to be more like hers or more like mine.
You know how you learn. It's the same way you study for tests.
Exactly.
Would it
Same
help
thing.
you to have a cheat sheet or would it just confuse you? Would it end up taking longer?
Yeah. Would you not be able to smoothly cover gaps in your voice as you are clicking from page to page? I happen to be able to. I can BS like a champ, okay? So I can cover with one side of my brain telling a story as I'm looking up the next tech that I want to talk about. Okay, and that's just the way that I tend to function. Liz tends to function by putting all of her attention on one thing at a time, and I tend to not quite do the same sort of thing. So if this works, yeah, I actually do. I'm like, oh, and by the way, blah, blah, and she's like, go away. I'm doing this one thing, and I need to do this one thing. Go away, go away, go away, go away, go away. Yes. So if you want to use this trick, use it well so that you don't have to be typing. Okay, but she's serious. If you are going to be on the computer, don't be typing. Shut your computer down if you don't think you could stop yourself from it, because they'll assume that you're doing what you're doing, which is looking everything up as you're talking to them. Yeah, or chatting with somebody.
Having a phone interview.
I'm having a phone interview. Pretty much. They'll assume that your attention isn't. They'll assume your attention isn't on them.
Use a headset if you possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
Your neck is going to start hurting if you have to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll sound funny.
Yes.
Loudspeaker stuff.
Yes, it does.
Speakerphone, oh my goodness.
They will, probably you'll have people there that will be on a speakerphone already. They'll already be on a speakerphone. 2 speakerphones do not a clear conversation make. A Bluetooth headset is probably your best bet for something like this. A wired one is fine too, whatever's going to work. I tend to want to be able to stand up, stretch, walk around, get some water in the kitchen if I'm at home doing an interview, okay?
Can you do all that while tabbing?
Yeah. So, well, I mean, I might be... I might be, you know, just shifting back and forth from one to the other, but I might stand up and go to the kitchen and grab some water. I might need to relax a little bit, go grab some chapstick or put some eye drops in, whatever you might want to do. But set yourself up to be very comfortable in this situation.
Zones are in your house as well.
Exactly, that's a very good point too. Know how far away you're going to be away from the dead zones in your house. Make sure if you're on a Bluetooth that you're carrying your phone with you so that you're not walking away from it accidentally. I've done that before and left my phone on top of the washing machine and walked into the kitchen and lost the interviewer before. Okay? So do you have any questions? There's 5 minutes left, so what questions do we have about physical presence and phone interviews? Somebody better have questions. If you have not asked me a question yet, then we're not ending this session until you've asked me a question. If you have not opened your mouth and asked a question to somebody up here already in this session, as a matter of fact, we're not ending the session until somebody has.
I have a question. What do you think of answering the phone, "Hi, this is Bill"?
You can answer the phone.
Identifying yourself.
That actually works really well.
Okay.
So often they'll say, "Hi, is this Bill?"
Right.
Doesn't matter.
You're telling them.
Yeah, pretty much. They may or may not.
Unless you're trying to duck telemarketers.
Don't do that. Yeah.
Hi, this is Finn.
Portia.
How do you feel about the strategy of dressing for the interview, even if it's a phone interview?
Don't be wearing fluffy clothes. Wear comfortable clothing, but don't be in your pajamas. So I don't go all out for a phone interview. The whole point is not to have to worry about it. But don't be in clothing that makes you feel slouchy or uncomfortable. Wash your face, pin your hair back. Be comfortable.
Goes for if you are working and telecommuting,
Oh,
and you're going
yeah.
to a meeting, do not do that in your pajamas. Do not sit in your bed unless that is the only zone in your house where your phone works. It's the only excuse for that.
Even if they can't see you.
Fix your phone. Because they're going to be able to hear it in your voice.
Okay. Now we're just going to go down the line. If you don't have a question, come up with one. Part of the reason is this is interviewing, right? You're all on here. You're all getting interviewed. Even as we're talking to you, this is still a meta interview. You're still getting the experience of being judged on your capacity, your appearance, your coding, your ability to interact with other people. And some of the things you're going to need to do is come up with stuff to say on the spot. So, question. What questions do you have about some of the stuff that I've just said?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's kind of my problem, is coming up with things on the spot. Like, I actually had a technical interview recently, my first one, and it was on the phone, and I was really nervous, and I just felt like everything went out of my head.
Okay. Ask me a question about how that can be prevented in the future.
How can that be prevented in the future?
Well, some of the best ways to do that are preparation, okay? Some of the things I told you about, the tabbing right there is a really good way to do it. Also, one excellent way to do it is know what the major technology is that they're going to be quizzing you on. If you're going to be doing web design, it's probably CSS or JavaScript, okay? Read the entire Wikipedia page maybe an hour or so before the interview, and then no matter what else, you'll have a couple of lists of facts at your fingers, right? The person who originally codified CSS, drop the name casually, okay? Gives you a little bit of extra oomph there, okay? And what questions do you have for me?
I already asked you a question.
You already asked me a question. You're right. I like her attitude. Awesome. Meta, you already got me.
I have a question though.
Go for it.
We've talked about sitting in our posture like this.
Doing good.
But when I'm typing, I don't want to be back here, so I was doing this, and I wanted to see what you thought of it. I'm crossing my feet at my ankles.
So much of the interview has nothing to do with you actually typing at the computer. That doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. Okay, so. V, right?
Yes.
Okay, V.
Oh, I remember. Well, I did this group thing over the summer where they said if you're not sure about what your team member or something is asking you, and if it's a phone interview, for instance, and they asked you to do a particular task, could you said earlier to avoid questions or interrogative, like that tone in your voice. If you ask like clarification question, does that count as the interrogative of like.
That's a good question. It has to do with physical presence. I almost never ask questions by saying, what do you think about this? Almost always I will say, tell me what you think about this. Do you see the difference? It's the same exact thing that Liz did, okay? Asking a question from a position of power. So when you're talking, when you want to get a clarification on something, you don't say, could you clarify that for me, please? What you say is, I'd like to get a clarification on that.
Okay, so turn the question to a statement.
Yes. If you start it with the word I and the next two words aren't don't understand, you're probably doing okay. Okay. Yeah, I'd like to get a clarification on that. You know, or how about you provide me with a little bit more information on this piece of your business? Okay, do you hear the difference in my tone and the difference in the projection of the personality? Okay, so, and now we're skipping because now we're cheating a little bit. Adriana, go for it.
Do you have like an exercise to calm down before you start?
I do yoga. I do yoga.
For the phone interview?
I do yoga.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So your voice doesn't sound cracked?
Yeah, talk. Some vocal exercises. We'll talk about that tomorrow too. Okay, so, and rolling around here, Bill.
What makes you uncomfortable when you're at a phone interview? Anytime you have been?
Nobody likes getting asked questions that they don't know the answer to. One time in an Amazon tech interview, I was asked to design a URL shortening service. And right at that moment, I went, God, I have no idea how to design a URL shortening system. And so I sort of broke one of the rules that I've been teaching you guys, and I said, you know what? I'm actually going to ask you a few more questions about that for clarification first, just to make sure that I understand what's going on. And then I used some of the multitasking stuff that Liz is talking about right now, and pulled up just the front page for Bitly or Snip URL or something like that, one of the URL shortening services, and stared at it and just kind of let the back of my brain work for a second. But I get asked questions that I don't know the answer to all the time. I don't like it. I'm not a fan of it. And it probably means that I didn't do my job very well preparing for the interview, which is the real reason I'm uncomfortable, because it means I didn't do a good job, and I hate that feeling.
So you feel like you can't tell them the truth?
You never lie.
Right.
Sometimes you don't tell them everything.
Right.
You never engage in a sin of commission. You engage only in sins of omission in job interviews, okay? Right. I don't like being made to feel like I'm an idiot. And so getting asked questions that I should have known the answer to just makes me feel like I didn't do a very good job, and then I might beat myself up a little bit.
Right.
So I might beat myself up if I think that I didn't do a good job preparing, and then I'm like, well, crap.
Somebody tells me that's one you'll always remember.
Very much. I'm never going to forget how to design a URL shortening service now, because the minute that I got off the phone interview with that guy, and that was the third in a series. Amazon will do like 5 or 6 of these guys, okay? That was the third, and it was the one that I didn't get past for this job as, like, I think a dev manager or something like that. So that was the one that I bombed, and I did it because I didn't know the answer to the question, and I probably should have, honestly. Okay? So, question.
What's the basic purpose of a phone interview, or why would a company choose to use phone interviews?
To not engage in the costs of an on-site interview. As you may have noticed, this is costly for us to do, for us to bring you guys here on site, right? Food, space, location, my time, Liz's time, everybody's time here, a lot of different reasons. There's legal issues, all manner of stuff. It probably costs 40, 50 times, you think, to bring somebody on site, divert attention from full-time staff, resources for the day, to handle interviewing a candidate on site. They want to get rid of as many candidates as they possibly can before they ever get to the in-person interview, because you don't want to interview more than 2 or 3 people on site. Okay? There's just not enough energy for that. You've got to pull your entire dev team away from whatever they're doing for hours to see if they fit well with these people. It's expensive. And if you can weed them out by finding in advance something that you don't like or don't want to deal with about them, it's a lot easier to do it. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Any tips? I actually had this happen to me recently, exactly what just happened to you, what you were describing with Amazon. But for me, the guy who was asking the questions was a surprise. So I was told I was going to be interviewed by, let's just say, X and Y. Did my research, was prepared, and then Z came on the phone, didn't know who he was, and was just asking me questions I was unprepared for.
Were they questions that were outside the scope of the interview?
I thought they were, and now I'm realizing maybe not. The recruiter, and I think even the company has told me, we're going to get on the phone, we're going to see if you're a personality fit, and then we'll bring you in for the technical interview. And they ended up doing the technical interview right on the phone.
That's actually more common.
Yeah, I know. I'm bringing a third guy in, and I just didn't know. It was my first, technical interview. So I was like, oh. But I guess my question is there anything you can do when somebody comes on the phone that's unexpected or?
Roll with the punches and you may not get that job.
Yeah.
Realize that next time it could happen that way.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is the extra practice that works.
What if you schedule a phone interview and you come down with a cold or something? Or
Tell them as fast as possible if something like that has happened. There have been times when something, well, you need to be very proactive about it. If you have something happen to you, seriously have something happen to you, and it shouldn't happen, because realize that you've just killed probably 40% of your shot of getting the job. Nobody's really going to believe that you're sick. Everybody's going to make it happen for an interview if they possibly can. And the truth is, if you can be heard and you can suffer through it, suffer through it. If you can't, be proactive, call your recruiter, call the person, or email in advance and say, I have come down with an awful case of laryngitis. My doctor says I will be better in 36 hours. Let's schedule for 38 hours from now.
Some vocalist tricks. Slippery elm.
Yeah.
Vocalese is another squirt that you can get. So there's a couple things that can give your voice a little bit of a normal.
Lemon, ginger, honey tea. Real ginger in it. Ginger juice from the ginger root. This is an old speaker's trick. So Alan and I have done this before. And also, this is going to sound pretty bad. And this is a trick from back in the day. Straight lemon juice. Okay? You are cutting all of the mucus out of your throat. And that's going to get rid of all of it. Your throat is going to be hell in a couple of hours. It's going to hurt. But you will be clear as a bell and perfectly able to do the interview. It has gotten me through more than one final parliamentary debate round. Okay.
I've actually had issues with congestion during interviews. And my tactic for this is, I will let them know that I either have a cold or I'm having allergies, but that I'm happy to still do the call. Before the call, I'll go use my neti pot. Clear it out as best you can. And I still sound awful usually, but they're prepared for it, and hopefully if you're in that situation, you're not going to get someone who doesn't understand your accent very well. That is, because if you're super congested and you're talking to someone with an accent, they may not be able to understand you at all. That's a bit of an issue. Also, for the point of why to do job interviews over the phone, to make the corporations not out to be the bad guy. I don't know if this is actually true or not, but it's occurred to me that some of them may start with this, so they can't be accused of not hiring you because of the way you look, especially with women.
I've seen that.
You can't be accused of.
Not hiring you because of how you look.
Exactly. If they can eliminate you on a point of technicality, they will. So.
And also when they are hiding from outside Seattle, for example. When
That can happen. You get calls. Yeah, you get calls basically no matter where you are. Hang on, we got two more people back here that haven't talked, and then we got to get them first. Wait, Eric, have you talked yet in this one? You've talked in this one. So has Portia. All right, so let me see. Alessandra, I don't think I've heard from you yet.
You actually pretty much covered it. It was regarding Amanda's concern about calling someone or just handling a challenge like that in a professional manner.
Come up with a new question for me right now.
A new question right now.
If you are uncomfortable or feel like you can't, divert the subject. Ask me a question about something that seems related but maybe isn't. Divert it. Start talking almost immediately.
Did you say that it's important to dress appropriately over the phone when you're sitting at home for an interview, phone interview?
As a clarification, yes, I think it is important to dress to the point where you are comfortable and you feel like you can do a good job, just like you would dress for a test at school, maybe. Okay? Is there anybody else in here that I haven't heard from? All right. We can end this session now. Anybody have any final questions? Yes, Portia.
This kind of sounds ridiculous, but one time I had a phone interview and the fire alarm went off. And it probably sounded really ridiculous to the people, because how is that going to happen? I don't know if you have advice, like you would go to a different place to avoid that type of thing, or just kind of, that's so random.
It sounds like the fire alarm is going off in my building. Can I call you back and establish the call again in 5 minutes when I get outside with my phone?
I did, and that was fine. It all went fine. It's just the thing is, to me, that sounds really, they asked me a technical question, and then the fire alarm. You know what I mean?
Can they hear the fire alarm over your phone?
I can't remember. It was years ago, but still.
Okay, if they can't hear the fire alarm over your phone,
Take the phone with you.
yeah, and make sure that it sounds like you're leaving the building. Would be a good way to do it. Okay? So some of this is learning to roll with the punches. If you can demonstrate that you can handle a weird situation fast on your feet right there, that's a good thing, not a bad thing. Okay?
New tips. Do all phone interviews near the
the fire alarm. If they ask
All right. 15-minute break, folks, before the next session.
I got one really short thing. You started out that by telling us that it sounded ridiculous, like you were apologizing for the story almost. That's something that, not to generalize,
No, it's a
is
good point.
way over with women as opposed to men. We give a whether or not you're offended by our stories for the most part, right? Take that attitude. Don't apologize for telling them something.
That's one of the best pieces. Yeah, Daniel is completely and totally right. Do not apologize for yourselves. If you screw up, say, you know what, I just screwed up. You know what, I'm going to do it better next time, right? I'm going to write down some notes about what just happened here. Can we go over this later on? Let's follow up with this. Make sure that this doesn't happen again. Okay? That's how you handle it. 15 minutes, guys.
Thank you to our Kickstarter backers, Michelle Thigpen, Annabelle Richard, Tech Liminal, and Adria Richards. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank all of our Kickstarter backers. We couldn't have done this without you. Thank you.